Hey everyone, today I wanted to do a video about my middle schooler, my 7th grader, and what we've been doing as far as using this book, learning how to learn, how to succeed in school without spending all your time studying, and what my plans are when we finish this book, because we're almost done, and how I am or will measure learning from this particular unit that we did. So just to recap a little bit, we have been reading a chapter a week from this book, and then there's two courses on Coursera that are free. One is specifically, I believe, for teens from this book, and then there's another one that I think is for adults. Anyway, we've been watching the videos where we can match them up from this book. So we read the chapter, we watch a couple videos, they're short, and then on another day, I will have her go through and answer the questions in the back of the book. So that's kind of how we are working our way through this book. And we're already implementing some of the things that we've learned in here. One being the Pomodoro method, using a timer. But I want to make sure that she's remembering a lot of the things that she's learning. And part of that is to start implementing the things. But I also want at the end of this for her to really be able to put a lot of this into action and show me exactly what she learned. So I have a final project in mind for this, and then I have some plans for where we're going to go from here for the rest of our school year. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. One of the other things that we are already implementing from here is they talk a little bit about note-taking. They don't call it the Cornell notes, but that's kind of what they're describing. So this is something we've started to implement. I got a pack on Teachers Pay Teachers, and we kind of went through the lesson in the pack, and then we are kind of testing this out in different subjects, this method for her. So this in particular, I just put kind of an overview of the method in the front of her notebook, and then I think this came with the pack that we purchased, but then she can start to we're going to use this one for history. She can replicate, this layout on her own paper. So that's something that came from here. And then I mentioned also the timer, taking kind of those brain breaks to kind of give your brain a break from being so focused for so long. So those are things that we're already implementing. Where we're going to go as far as a final project for this, this is, I created kind of a mission for her. This kind of has a military theme because that just happens to be something that she's interested in. And so that's a way that I can kind of incorporate her interests into something that I want her to learn, which just gives more buy-in to it. So this is a mission that she will complete when she's done with this. And the goal of this is to use the strategies that she learned from here, but also some strategies or what she learned about her own brain from doing this workbook. So we're kind of meshing the two of these together, or kind of what she learned about herself in this book and strategies that she learned in this book. And those are going to tie into this final project. So her mission is to actively use the strategies that she learned from this book to improve her academic skills. So step 1 is she is going to choose a challenge, a learning challenge, and create a mission poster that details that challenge. So I gave a couple examples. It could be studying for like her Latin test, mastering a challenging math concept, learning about a new topic, or she may come up with something else, but these are some examples. I want this to be specific to our current homeschool. And then she's going to make a poster that she's going to name the mission. She's going to write her objective, what her deadline is, and what obstacles she thinks she's going to have to overcome. And then step 2 is her mission strategy. So she has to design a learning plan using at least 3 of the strategies presented in Learning How to Learn. There are more things talked about. I just put kind of some keywords in here to kind of jog her memory. So she has to come up with her learning plan, and then her step 3 is she has to create a visual map, like a mind map or whatever else, an outline, however she wants to do it, to show how she's going to implement the strategies over the course of the mission, and basically visually outline how she's going to use the learning strategies to complete her mission. And then step 4 is really about reflecting and reporting back on her experience and her results. She'll include kind of an overview, if the strategies were successful, what the learning outcome was, and just her reflection. And I'm not particular on how she does that. I put a couple suggestions. She can just write it up. She can do a video. She can make a poster. She can make a comic strip, however she wants to do it. So that is going to be kind of her final project. I got this little, I think it's a mind map from this Life Skills Advocate. It was free. It actually says main idea right here, but I made one myself to kind of give her as an example of how she might use this to do her step 3. But if there's something else she wants to do, she can. I just think that this is a really kind of simple way to kind of lay out her plan. So we have that. And then after that, after this project is complete, another project that we're going to that will tie into this is to create her own personalized learning toolkit. And again, this comes from both of these books. This comes from the strategies she's learned in here, and this comes from what she has learned about her own brain in here. And so I made a sample one to show her. I'll show you that, but basically based on the strategies she's learned in Learn How to Learn, her reflection of the previous mission, and the techniques she learned in her Thriving with ADHD workbook, she's going to select items that are useful to her to aid in future learning endeavors. And not all of these are physical things that you can touch. You know, some of the things in here are methods. And so one of the things that I gave her some suggestions of what she might include. And one of those is making some little index cards with strategies listed on them from here and from here to kind of help her if she's stuck on where to go, so that she doesn't forget. You know, she's got kind of like a little cheat sheet of different things she might use in different situations, but also some things like a timer or colored pens, because she, like me, likes to make things pretty and visually appealing. So for notes, having colored pens or highlighters might be something important in her toolkit. Notebook or index cards, maybe some little brain break activities or a fidget, music, headphones, things like that. So she's going to kind of brainstorm her ideas here, and then she will make her own learning toolkit that she can have access to whenever she needs. So I think that that will be a good way to kind of pull all of this together. I'll show you kind of mine that I just put together in here, and this is specific to me. So I have a container here that I have some highlighters. I have just a pen that I like to write with, and I have my fountain pens, which I use if I really just want to brain dump. These are really good because I just prefer them. They're easy to write. It makes the writing process easy, and I feel like I can just go and go and go. So that's what I have in mine. Plus I have some index cards in the bottom that I use when I'm reading like educational books for myself. I highlight and then I write onto note cards, and then I transfer to those note cards to a notebook. And this happens to be the one that I'm using right now. I have that in there. So these are important tools in my toolkit. I also happen to have a bunch of little Post-it notes and page tabs because I use those a lot. when I'm trying to learn. I have just a little, this is like one of those neatos. I'm not big necessarily into fidgets, but something like this can be helpful for me when I need to like clear my brain before I go back to reading or something like that. So I also tend to use my phone a lot, which I'm trying to get away from. So anyway, I threw that in there. I need to make lists a lot of times before I even start a project. And so I have my favorite little Post-it list in there. I have my noise canceling headphones. I use these pretty much every time when I'm sitting down to read or to do some kind of lesson plan. I really need to block out everything. And so I use these with music playing usually. No music with words, just like classical music. So those are in my toolkit. And then I also just have another little notebook. This is one that fits in my little traveler's notebook, style notebook. So depending on what it is that I'm taking notes on, if I know it's going to eventually go in there, I might do it in one of these. So I don't have, I feel like, a ton of stuff in my toolkit, but for the things I need to do, these are the things that are helpful for me. And I don't need a list of strategies and things like that because I'm not at that point in my life. I'm past that. So, but this is what I'll show her as an example of what mine looks like. And then she will create her own. So that is kind of where we've been, where we are right now, and where we're going as far as teaching how to learn, how to study, how to retain information, and how to kind of set ourselves up for success. So what's up next? We are going to take all of that and move into goal setting. And we're going to start with goal setting within our academics, kind of building on the mission, our final project from Learning How to Learn. I got this book from the library that I like. It is A Guide for Teens. What do you really want? How to set a goal and go for it. And so the plan is to read through this. I also, before I found this, I got this pack off of Teachers Pay Teachers called Smart Goals. So we will use pieces from this. This is for kids, but I think it can be applied. It uses the SMART way, the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And so my hope is that we will go through this once to set an academic goal, and then she will we'll do it again, and she will set a goal for, her personal life outside of school, whether that's related to sports or a hobby or career aspirations, whatever. We will then move on to that. So that is where we are going to kind of go from Learning How to Learn. We'll still use probably a lot of the strategies from Learning How to Learn and from her ADHD workbook. And so this is just another way for us to build upon what we've learned, what she's learned both about herself, her brain, and just learning strategies in general. And then take it into a real life application. So that is what we have next on the agenda. So if you have any questions about anything that I've shared about today, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to talk to you down there. Thanks for watching.